What's on your mind, baby?
Are we going?
Yeah, we're going.
Okay. The first thing on my mind, I just go back to this morning and I think about a really great vision meeting we had.
We did, man.
And we changed our location.
We went upstairs on the balcony. Mm-hmm. We have a new little seating area that I spilled coffee all over to start.
It's okay.
I was trying. But in that fall weather, this morning.
Felt so nice. I think there was something to changing it up, changing our location.
For sure. Don't you dig?
It does something.
I think you dig literally ruts in your brain when you do something the same way over and over and over. Mm-hmm. Somebody said, like, sometimes if you're taking the same way to work if you turn right out of your neighborhood, just maybe take a left. I mean, that could put you an hour late to work, but
but we did.
No, just do something different.
We took a left.
Change it up.
We went upstairs today, and I don't know. I think the weather was beautiful, and just from that perspective, we were up on this second floor balcony, looking down over the backyard, and just kind of hit different, didn't it?
It did. One of the things that people say when I've asked about praying with your spouse, most of us don't do it. Even, I mean, some people do, but, and for years, like, we didn't do it. We haven't prayed together a lot. I mean, you could say over the 36 years, we have prayed together a ton, but, a lot of times it's maybe, if your spouse asks you to pray over them, hey, will you pray for me? And, but I hear some people say, man, I don't even know how to do it. I don't know how to say a prayer. They feel like they're not a spiritual leader, or they don't know even how to word a prayer, or they've never prayed out loud. They pray silently, but just, man, hearing what your spouse, what they're struggling with, just that, sharing, person to person. And then just knowing that you're not just wasting your breath. You're not just speaking into the air. You're praying to God, and He's actually hearing, and He's going to answer your prayer, and what that does to your hearts, for each other. But just prioritizing praying for one another, and then praying over each other, like out loud. I think it's been a game changer for us, because we've been a lot more consistent with it. So, I mean, I would just challenge everybody to do that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I am always surprised. Like, before I pray, I don't have it planned out. Like, I don't have all my bullet points ready. What am I going to say? So I have a general idea of like how I want to start to pray, start whatever I want to say with gratitude and just start listing stuff. But then it's almost like that opens up the lid, and you're surprised what comes out.
Right.
So I know sometimes you're like, wow, I didn't even know that was on your heart. I go, me either.
Right.
So I think so many times it's a surprise kind of blessing for the person who is praying to see what all comes up, and then to whoever you're praying with, which we're talking about your spouse, it just creates this intimacy that is just
it really does.
Amazing.
I've said this before. I hear you say things to God that maybe I wouldn't have heard you say before to me, even. So if let's say we're struggling in our intimacy, and I don't mean sex, I mean just like we're not connecting at an emotional level, but you're connecting with God. Well, I'm going to hear when you're praying out loud to this person of Jesus Christ that you're intimate with. I'm going to hear you say some things that maybe I haven't heard. But I think most people, well, not most, I mean, a lot of couples are praying over their children. They're praying at meal times. They're praying in church. So just take it one step further and just pray with each other. And, again, so many people think, man, it's awkward. I don't know what to say. Or how do you start it? Just say, hey, is there something that I can pray for you for? What is that? Pray for you for? Is there something that you would like for me to pray over? There's a praying for and praying over. I picture praying over as like, man, when we scoot close and you put your hand on my leg, or I put my hand on your shoulder, or we grab hands and say, hey, I'm going to pray over you. I'm going to pray for you.
And I have loved it in our marriage when you have asked me to pray over you. So you'll just, every once in a while you'll say, hey, babe, I'm struggling with this, or
I'm admitting a need.
Dealing with this. Yeah. Will you pray over me? And there is just something, my heart just melts, and I'm all in. Like, yes, let's do it.
And you know that scripture that says the prayer of a righteous man, the old language is availeth much. You know, the prayer of a righteous man is powerful and effective. I think the new version. And so if I'm feeling like mine, you know, A, I'm not a righteous man. B, my prayers seem like they're not powerful, effective. I just think, man, Jamie's are. So will you pray for me? Will you pray over me? I think it unlocks, again, there's that vulnerability that man, I need something right now. And I trust your relationship with God. And I trust you to pray over me that there's going to be power in it. And
what if we all did that more? Ask our spouses.
It'd be good.
Would you pray over me about this?
We just say amen in the podcast right now.
Yeah.
No,
okay.
so that was
Great
amazing
week.
this morning. I really appreciate it. And, you know, I mean, it changed, not just in that moment, it changed my expectations for the day. When I walked away, the way I felt, just lighter and more hopeful. And just it set my intentions and my expectations for the day way differently. You said something earlier to me about the intentions or your expectations being hopeful. Talk about that. You posted something even about that.
Yeah. Well, first
Setting
of all,
you up. Is that a lob over the plate?
It was really cool. I thought when I think back to this morning and now that seems like so many hours ago, I guess it was, but I think we both came to our vision meeting a little weighty, like we felt a little burdened, and not about one specific thing. And sometimes it's me. I feel like I'm struggling, or I'm sad, or I'm having a hard time with this, or I feel stuck, or whatever. And then sometimes it's you. Yeah. But today it was kind of both of us that just kind of brought our stuff. I put our notebook aside and just, we both just shared, even through tears, which was really sweet. I didn't know what this morning was going to be like, but that was a really special start to the morning. And I think there is something to when you can create a safe space for each other to share when something's, when you're having a hard time or struggling with something, and that you both can say, the other one says, hey, you know what, me too. And so we shared in that very special, intimate moment, tearful, and then laughed, and then prayed for each other. And then I think that released something. Like that's kind of the emotion that's right at the top. Like, I just feel so burdened. And then you release that. And it's not just like this instant, like, whoa, I'm healed, I feel all better. But there really is something to having a safe space to let that stuff out. And then when you feel heard and you don't feel weighted down by it as much, you don't feel crazy, you feel, okay, I'm normal, and it just opens you up for this kind of this hopeful expectation. Yeah. And so.
And I've heard I'm thinking about two men specifically that I've heard over the last 3 weeks that said, I don't want to show weakness. And it feels like I'm being weak if I ask my wife to pray for me. Yeah. They literally said, I feel like I've got to have all my ducks in a row. I've got to have it together. And if I tell her I'm struggling, even just to share I'm struggling in an area, I've got to hold it together. I've got to be strong. And, maybe that came from a dad that said, suck it up, buttercup, you're not supposed to struggle, or you need to be a leader, and you need to be powerful and strong, and you need to lead your family. And so they literally, both of them said in so many words, and one said it exactly like this. I feel like it's showing a weakness if I ask my wife to pray over me. And nothing.
And guess what? It is. But something about when you show me your weakness, you say, hey, this is a weak spot, or this is where I'm hurting, or whatever. All of a sudden, you sharing that weakness makes you so strong. Yeah. So much stronger in my eyes.
In the scripture, in your weakness, my power is manifest, is made known, is made manifest in your life. It's you giving up. It's you surrendering. What did I say today? I said surrender equals, what did I say?
Oh, gosh.
Like,
maybe I wrote it down.
You did write it down.
I don't have it with me.
You don't have it with you? It's okay. Well, we could sit here and riff on what surrender means, but it was just like, it's more for me than giving up. It was surrender just meant finally coming to the end. There was some word that I used that it just felt so right. But so there's that. There's the, I don't want to appear weak. And so, I just don't know how to come to my wife and say, hey, will you pray over me? Or, vice versa, the woman who doesn't want to admit her struggle. But many times throughout our marriage, you weren't a safe place to come to. And I mean, as I say that, I didn't think you were a safe place. And we weren't in a place of vulnerability, or we didn't want, I had resentment built up. Maybe we weren't close, or I didn't feel close to you. And we were in fights, and I had developed a hardened heart. And so the last thing I wanted to do is open up and share with you some things. And and I know a lot of people find themselves there, but boy, what better way to just wipe away some of the walls and the defensiveness
and one
some
of
the
you
barriers.
Is going to have to go first.
Yeah.
One of you is going to have to say, I'm going to admit this, and I'm not going to worry about the results of this. I'm going in, and I'm going to share that I'm struggling and just see what comes from that. But I think there were many years where we each carried such a burden. We were struggling mentally or spiritually or physically, and we didn't dare share it with, because I think we were at such a toxic place in our relationship that we probably feared you were going to use it against us.
Yeah.
You were like, if I shared that with you, you were going to come back and use it against me as a weapon.
Yeah. And what you said about not even knowing what is going to come out, like when you start your prayer and all of a sudden stuff starts rolling. It's now when I sit down and share my heart, it's not like I've got 3 points that I've written down that I come to you. It's when you ask, sometimes you even ask. And as I sit there in the moment, I try to think, what is it? Let's say, we always say anger is covering, fear, sadness, or shame. Am I feeling afraid? I think today you said, are you scared about something, are you? And I was like, is it a fear? Do I feel anxious? Do I feel depressed? Like, why am I struggling? Why am I in a funk? Why do I feel, is there something I'm harboring, some unforgiveness towards you or to someone else? What did I have a bad night? Have I not slept? And it feels okay for me to sit there. I remember today in that beautiful setting, just kind of looking around, watching the hummingbirds, come to the feeders and just seeing some of the clouds. And I was just thinking, what is it? And you were a safe place where I could just kind of sit there and think out loud and feel out loud. You can't hear what you don't feel. So it was cool. It's been, man, the vision meeting.
I think it changed the trajectory of our day.
It did. It
For
absolutely did. And at the end of the day, I saw the fruit. We went had our vision meeting, and then we packed up and loaded up and went to the old vendor fair and ran the long haul marriage vendor fair at Lucky Spur and touted the marriage coaching, the intensives, the retreats, the workshops, and the wedding venue. But it was cool. The conversations that we had around, with some of the other vendors, with some of the people who came through, met some old friends, and some people surprised us who stopped by. But again, the way I felt in that moment, what I was expecting to happen versus the way I woke up today, it was night and day.
Yeah, I feel like if we wouldn't have had that safe space to release some of that stuff that we were carrying, to process through some of it together and come together and feel that, like, just experience that intimacy and feel like a team, like the dream team that we are, that you always say. I think it really put us in a different mindset to load up and head out to do that, vendor open house. I think I keep saying that, we both had this hopeful expectation, like, wow, we were really kind of down and not feeling great, this morning about and I don't mean physically, I mean, just emotionally felt kind of burdened by some stuff. And then it just felt like we had this release, and we stepped into that time at Lucky Spur, just excited and happy to be there, and so hopeful for whoever. God, we're saying yes to this, and we're when you open these doors, we're going to say yes and walk through them and see what happens, see who we meet, see what it leads to.
Yeah. And you talked about the dream team. You feel like a team when you pray for each other. It's like, man, you started it and then I pray, or sometimes I start it and you back clean up. Sometimes, one starts going and you can tell the other one's looking at their watch. Okay, land the plane.
That's
you're not hurt.
you.
You're not hurt because of your many words. Your vain babbling, as the old scripture
If anybody has ever been with me when I prayed, you're saying, "Amen, Brian."
Land
we hear
the
you.
Plane. But no, so the team thing, and it's like, man, you've got my back. You feel like we've got each other's back. But again, I think about all the times where that wasn't the case and we didn't do that. But again, you could do the chicken or the egg, which came first. Is it we're feeling like a team and we're feeling more intimate and we're feeling more close and vulnerable and intimate and emotionally connected because we're praying, or we're praying. And so we're feeling all those other things.
Anybody thinks, wow, that's just because y'all are just like the perfect couple. Let me just, this was Sunday.
Right.
So was it Friday night when we had a little tiff and I cried and something hurt my feelings and we had to work through something. So just in case anyone is listening and going, wow, okay, must be nice. Y'all are just the perfect couple.
And I can't remember what that was Friday night. I'm sure you.
Well, I do. Do you want me to bring it up?
You could.
Okay. Something spilled on your bathroom counter and you got frustrated because of how it was in this basket and somebody spilled it.
We have a lot of baskets that are starting to grow on our bathroom counter. And it was beard oil that was had been knocked over on its side because of the 30,000
thrown
things
in your
basket. The basket. Anyway, so I had to clean up some beard oil. It was my, I don't even, right now I'm not using beard oil. I keep it short.
Yeah, but it wasn't even about that.
It wasn't about that. It was about the way I reacted to that. And it wasn't good. But then it not only hurt your feelings, but then you had a bad night because of that. Your mind, you kind of spiraled.
Yeah.
And it was hard for me. I texted you that night.
Yeah, because I went to bed before you.
Yes.
You texted and said, hey, that was about me. I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
Please forgive me or whatever. I apologize or whatever.
But it took a while and it was heavy.
Just like last night. I mean, not last night. I mean, Friday night. I had some dreams about us. And
that was Friday night?
That was Friday night.
Yeah. So woke up Saturday morning and I could tell. And then it wasn't just, oh, I'm sorry, sweetie. I hated the fact that I had thrown you so off, and you were trying to even figure out, why did he? But we were able to. Again, we didn't go a day without talking. We were able to clean that up and have an incredible, I would say, Saturday night
day from the past.
Yeah. So last podcast, we talked about work-life balance. And by the way, thank y'all for the response. I mean, good night. We were just talking about, again, long haul life, right? We were talking about work-life balance and giving some of our best hours and years of our lives to work, and man, what are we doing? And we got to embrace and enjoy life and, work to live, not live to work. I wanted to talk about now let's bring it to the marriage. Let's talk about prioritizing, our spouses and our marriage over some of the other things that are good things in life.
Right.
But this morning I was out and I heard early, these shotgun, off in the distance, shotgun blast. And I'm thinking, wow, there goes some dove right now going down. So hunting season, and you're going to come into the deer season and, these hunting wives feel like hunting widows. So there's hobbies. I mean, good night. There's poker and there's softball and there's music and there's tennis. Golf and everybody's got there's hunting,
mahjong and bunko,
pickleball. Anyway, and so and you've got your trips, girls trips, and your college roommates weekends, and we need to do all of those things, right? There is, Thursday night football that started this last week. And then you got Friday night football. You got college game day on Saturday morning, college football all day. And then you got, Sunday, this NFL. And people, it's in the air and we're excited about it. And some men want to just sit, and some women want to sit in front of that TV and watch football just constantly. What I love is the fact that me and my boys, we're trading prize pick slips and we're looking at watching the games and we're texting each other.
Yeah.
But you love it. I love that you're a football mom. You always loved it when our boys played, and you just love watching football. You love having it on in the house. And
I do.
Our we picture these fall nights where it gets a little cooler and I've got the Shinerbach chili on the stove.
Yes.
But how can we do this to where our spouses do not resent our hobbies? Well, we have to make sure we're not pouring our first fruits and all of our time and our top priority into those other things. We have to make sure that our marriage and our spouse know that they're number one. And so what does that look like, and how do we do it?
Well, one thing that we've I think talked about a lot is the idea of a kitchen pass. How you joke, like how some guys have to ask for a kitchen pass to go fishing or whatever. I don't feel like we've ever really had to do that. Like where you're like,
the old ball and chain.
Are you okay if I go?
You got to get a kitchen pass.
But let me tell you why it's never bothered me. First of all, I enjoy being with myself, so I don't mind being by myself, and can I can do plenty of things around the house or run errands or whatever. So that's number one. I enjoy being alone or with friends, or I have my own hobbies or my own life. And so that's, I don't mind it. But also I think the main thing is you have always prioritized me. And then when the kids were all at home, the kids, like you prioritized your family. We never, not one time wondered if we were number one to you. And because I felt like we mattered and you made time, you gave us kind of your best. I'm not saying every season, because you're going to be like, wait, no, I remember.
Well, we got out of whack. We got out of balance.
Sure.
But how you approached me when that did happen was so different than what I hear. It's like, hey, sweetheart, it just feels like that's been kind of excessive, and it was kind of maybe I'm curious about how you're feeling. Do you think it's a little much? It wasn't ever accusatory. It was more like a question. And and if we're honest, we have to evaluate. Wow, let me look at my, in the old days, daytimer. Let me look at my schedule. Let me look at my calendar. Am I spending the majority of my time, my money, whatever, in my hobby? So am I making my spouse resented? What I love is when I would go fishing, man, I got into bass fishing for years, and you would always text me and say, hey, are you getting into them? Are you going? You were excited. You would freaking go buy snacks for my trips. You would want me to have fun. And I think it's because you weren't resenting it because it wasn't a mistress. It wasn't the affair I was having with my, the hunting lease or whatever.
Another reason I think that I've always just loved you having hobbies is because I see what it does for your spirit. So when you take time to meet a buddy for lunch or coffee, or you take time to, play in some poker tournament or whatever it is that you take time to get away and do, I can just see that fires you up in a different way.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like, I don't expect for you and I to be together 24/7 and for all of your spare time better go to me. I just don't feel insecure. I feel like you've always helped me feel safe in being number one to you. And so anytime you want to go, and it's not like you would do it to excess either, or I would be like, hey buddy, I need you home helping with the kids or whatever. It was, you didn't do it all the time, but anytime you wanted to, I was so happy for you to be able to. And I just saw what it did for you. There's just something about getting to hang out with buddies or doing something that you love that just makes you, fired up and excited. And
and when you come home from your girls' weekends,
Yes.
or your college roommate, even it's an annual trip. Good night's once a year, but so many people throw a fit and they pout and hey, some people have rejection wounds. They've got abandonment wounds. They've got some things in their past, and so that triggers them. So you got to think about that. Maybe your spouse is not doing the things to excess. Maybe you just have this thing where you always want them to be there. Maybe there's an imbalance in their social circle and yours. Maybe they've got a circle of friends you don't. Maybe they like to be out and you're a homebody. You have to look at all of that and weigh it. But for the most part, like you said, man, you're giving life to that part of their heart when they get to go and do those things. As long as you, like I said, keep it in balance.
I also love the way that I'm going to say yes, but you always ask. You don't just put something on the calendar and go, hey, babe, I don't know. Maybe you have done that before, but most of the time you say, hey, babe, would it be okay if Saturday morning I met David for coffee or whatever. I'm trying to even think of a good example.
No,
you just always kind of ask, hey, is that okay? And you do
too. It's like, and we're not asking permission. Matter of fact, anytime you come to me, hey, sweetheart, what would you think about me that you've already decided? What would you think about me going and meeting somebody for coffee on Saturday morning?
Yeah.
But truly, I do know you're trying to be considerate. Does that work with our schedule? Would that be a good calendar? Do you want me to switch the day? You literally, it's like the consideration. And so everything we're saying, we've learned this over years. And so we're in this rhythm of doing things that show respect for each other, show respect for the relationship. Again, I'm just thinking about, I always want to make the disclaimer. If you ever think we, have always had this stuff figured out, go listen to podcast number 1 and 2.
Go back to
episodes 1 and 2. Man, you just learn to, but when you get married, you're not a bachelor anymore. You're not the single guy. You now have a different thing to consider. You've got a family, you've got a wife. And does that mean you're giving up? Yeah, you're going to give up some things. You're not going to be playing softball every night of the week, right? You're not going to be going hunting every single weekend. I know I'm stepping on some toes.
Ouch.
And you know what? Okay. Make your wife such a priority and your family such a priority that when hunting season comes, she's like, man, go have fun. She feels like a queen. She feels like number one. She feels like you prioritized her and that you actually love being with her. I was just saying this and I was telling you, I'm just so glad we look forward to being together.
Yeah.
It's like, so you actually want to be with them. If you're not looking forward to being with your spouse, ask yourself why. Why has that person, are you not having fun anymore? Are you just talking about crap? Are you just we've been there. Are you just talking about bills you owe? Are you talking about trouble? Are you talking about literally all of the, your brain dead kids that are causing, again, lost sleep? We were there. But you have to say, you know what? We're disconnecting from bills and finances. We're not going to talk about problems tonight. We're going to go have fun. Even doing that, saying, hey, every other week, once a month, calendar a date night. And man, guys, I would say you plan it. Don't make your wives initiate those fun times, man. Yeah.
I think we've talked about this week, and even with a couple of our couples, that you have these patterns and these rhythms, this dance that you've set up in your marriage, and you just get to the point where you've lived that way for so long that you just think that's how it is. Maybe this is just as good as it's going to get. Or maybe this is just how marriage is. And we just got to ride it out. Like, it's fine. Like, our marriage is fine. It's okay.
Based on what you've seen in our culture with your parents, what was modeled. You talk to your friends. That's just the way marriage is. It just kind of sucks, is what people think. Yeah, I heard that this week.
So one thing, and this is not a commercial, but kind of a commercial, but I'm thinking of our workshop coming up October 15th at Justin Coffee. It's called Seasons of Us, and we haven't started marketing it yet, but it will be out soon. But things like that, or reading a marriage book together, going through some kind of a marriage class, going to a marriage retreat, something to focus on you, not the kids, not the bills, just you as a couple. And it changes something in your brain. It makes you focus on, okay, how are we stuck in our ways, and how can we just with a few tweaks change that and make each other a priority. And so I think if, a simple workshop or a book that you read together will help prioritize your marriage over everything else.
I think about some times where I've been on the way home from a fishing trip or from said poker tournament, or something I figured out on the piano when I've been in there hacking stuff out for 4 hours. You really act like you care. So I was started to cringe when you were talking about marriage workshops, and again, I know we're doing them, but like reading a marriage book or doing a marriage workshop or working through a workbook together. Sometimes that's like, but man, sharing with your spouse what you're into, your passion, and them actually caring about it. That doesn't mean you have to be into poker or even understand what I'm talking about half the time, or be into bass fishing, or understand, the nuances of the Bruce Hornsby lead that I'm working on the piano. But it's you care. It's like you're interested. And sometimes, man, you see me light up. And so you actually act like you're interested, which I've always really, I've appreciated that. So sometimes, man, be curious about what you don't have to love it, but love your spouse. And so love the thing that they love and show your care by saying, I'm going to be into what you're into.
Yeah. And some of that stuff, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yep.
I'm like, no, you're showing me, your the way that your fingers are on this note, and some people think it goes here, but actually it goes here. I'm like, nope, I wouldn't have even noticed the difference on the piano. But
cool.
Either if you're teaching me, you're watching poker on TV and you're showing me like, oh, this is what happened, and this guy had this, and this guy had this. I'm like, I don't know what you were talking about. What are boats? It's
a full house.
Whatever. I don't know. Just all the lingo. I don't understand it all,
right.
But I love the passion I see in you as you talk about it. Yeah. So I'm going to be excited just listening to your, to your passion. I'm never going to want to play it.
And I can see the woman rolling her eyes right now if that's all he talks about, and it's consuming, and he's really addicted to something, and so we have to be careful about letting those other interests consume us, because we're all creatures of habit and we're all addicted to something, right? And so you have to make sure that you are addicted to your family, like literally that you're, man, I'm going to pour my first fruits, my time and my attention first into my family. I think about today, Sunday football. We scheduled this, someone scheduled this Lucky Spur open house.
Not me.
For the vendor fair. No, not you, but we said we're going to do it. And, I actually was looking forward to it. But when it came up and I saw that it was going to be starting, it was going from 2 to 4. I've been watching the U.S. Open for weeks, right? Yeah. And I knew that Sinner and Alcaraz were in the finals starting at 2:00, right?
Yay.
And I'm thinking, I'm going to miss that tennis tournament. Now, there's no real excuse to be too upset by that because of our, the way the TV records everything. So with YouTube TV, I can sit there and watch it, but maybe you don't want the spoiler, you don't want to find out who won, or you want to watch it real time, whatever. I get that. All the NFL games that were going on. So you could resent that, or you can just pour your time into this thing, have a blast, and come home and, watch the highlights.
Yeah.
Like, guys, I'm just talking to the men now. It's just so interesting to me. It's like, dang it, I work hard and I'm working all week and this is my time. Okay, so are you going to check out every single weekend? And now, we were joking the other night, literally every night except for maybe Tuesday or Wednesday, you've got football. Like literally, you could be watching football games, good football games. And now, I get it. Some of you guys are going, oh no, there's even games then. And they're trying to figure out now ways to play overseas. And there was always the game over in, So there's games all the time.
Yeah,
I thought we were going to go down this rabbit hole. So the thing that I love about, so we've been talking a lot about men prioritizing, women prioritizing their spouse. One of the things that I've seen you do is not just be interested in the things that I'm interested in when I'm telling you the stories and your eyes are rolling back in your head. But no, you seriously, you at least act like you're interested. But there's been times where you've actually joined me in those things. And so I remember when I was really, really into fishing, and one night I saw you. We lived like 3 houses down from a really cool stock bass pond, and one night I was out there, and here you came, and you were literally carrying a fishing pole. And I thought, man, she is hot. Look at that sexy girl right there.
Was really hot.
It just, that made my heart open to you so much. You could not have cared less about, bass fishing. You wanted to be with me. That was a bid for connection. You were saying, I want to be with you. And that was so, so cool. I've never forgotten that. And you do things like that actually quite often. And so, yeah, I've appreciated that about you.
Thanks, babe. Something that we've also talked about a lot of times, I think when we're all in our feels, is about how we're excited about whatever it is we're excited about, whether it's a new recipe I'm trying or meeting somebody for coffee or whatever it is. The reason why I'm excited about that, or the reason why that even has meaning, is because then I get to share that with you. Like if you weren't here, that would not have the meaning that it has for me. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but like the reason, and you've told me before, the reason why you love poker so much or love fishing so much or love watching football is because for football, I'm sitting right there by you, or I'm in the kitchen cooking something while you're making that. Or I know I'm coming home
to you. There's a companion, someone to share it with. And so some people out there, long haul life, you may not have your companion. You may not have that friend, but a lot of you are married, you're engaged, you're in relationship. And, So it's it's saying I'm going to give up some things alone so that I can, foster that relationship with my partner and that friendship with my partner. I'm thinking about people right now who, easy for you to say, empty nesters. We're actually open nesters. That they always come back and they are always here. But the throws, raising kids and just this time of year, all the stuff that's going on at school, and man, the youth sports. I mean, we've been there driving around all the time.
We're looking for cleats. And we're heating up mouthpieces.
Yeah, boiling the mouthpiece and shaping that. And Dad, you got the wrong shoulder pads, the wrong girdles, or whatever. But so
Texas.
For me, it's like, again, I could resent the thing that I did today with you, or I can say, you know what, I'm going to, because so many people, they say, okay, I'll do it. And then they make their spouses pay hell
miserable
over it.
Yeah.
They're just, but they're griping the whole time. And the spouse doesn't even want them to be there then because you let them know this wasn't my choice, And I mean, I was there. I did that a lot. I guess what I would love to challenge anyone that feels like they're doing that, to kind of making their spouse pay for, when they do end up prioritizing, because I know it's busy. You've got the kids and you've got, and so you want some me time. Yes, take the me time. But man, if you can pour into the family time, I feel like you get it back in spades. I just do. I feel like all the time that I did pour in, that you poured in, then we're like, hey, go, have fun. Yes, go do your thing. Thank you for considering. Thank you for being considerate and asking. But yes, absolutely go.
And there were seasons where I remember our sweet little birth announcement that Wes actually designed for us when Chandler was born. That's when you used to mail out birth announcements. But it says, the birth of Chandler Haley Hackney. And it says her daddy's golf clubs are now for sale.
Yes,
or something.
Her daddy's golf clubs are now for sale. Yeah.
And so there was a time you used to play a lot more golf.
Oh,
and then there was, after she was born.
Sorry, I can't be 5 hours out on the golf course every freaking yeah.
So
and to be good, you got to practice 2 or 3. You want to be at the driving range. You want to play a couple nights a week before you get with your buddies on the weekend. Yes.
So you did make sacrifices for us. You did give that up for a season, and
Let's
honestly,
see, brand new driver or formula for Chandler.
Sorry, actually, you never even went back to golf, but I think it's okay because you found these other things, these other interests that you were into. But
as we always said, it's not that any of these things are bad, right? It's we just saying yes to something, better. Right, you can say yes to these good things, but you're just saying yes to some better stuff, and I just think it's really, really cool because people think about sacrificial, like it's really going to hurt, and they're really giving stuff up. What I'm learning about sacrificial living is that, man, you get back so much. It's that those who lose their life will find it, and if you find your life, you'll lose it. Think about what that means this week. Everybody think about what that means. That's a wise statement made by a sage once upon a time.
And how can you show, girls, how can you show your husband that he's number one? And husbands, how can you show your wife that she is number one above golf, above football, and that doesn't mean you're going to have to give all of that up all the time. But how there are ways that you can still get to do things you love and make her feel like she's a priority in your life.
Okay, second half is starting. Sorry.
Oh, we got Bills. To go. Speaking of, hey, we'll let you know more. But October 15th, I am very excited about this. It's called Seasons of Us, a couples workshop, and we've started on putting it together. And I am so excited. Man. You will want to be there.
I appreciate that little plug and that last little commercial. I so had it in my head. I was going to say, it's going to be so funny. I set it up. So the second half is starting when we're talking about priorities and sacrificial. And I said, go Bills. And I could picture the music just going,
okay, go for it. Ready, go.
All right. Sorry, Ravens. Go Bills.